Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Race, Eternity, Trials and Tribulations. In the last episode, we finished cross-examining Jean Armstrong, and now we are about to bring Furio Tigre to the stand to convict him of murder. Let's get going. January 8th, 1:21 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, numbered 1. So we're finally gonna see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now. He said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean, you think that Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know, but if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that if we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe. What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end. Hey, that's the pod calling the kettle black, little Miss Top Knot. It's not a top knot! Looks like a top knot. Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, all right? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I get kind of wound up. Ah! No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But, Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour? You bet. In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey! That's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we saw the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me too. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. January 8th, 1:56 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites. Very well. Please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. He doesn't look tamed. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... Ah! Ah! Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too. What you mind? What you say to me? Nothing! I didn't say nothing, honest! Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge? I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the heck called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was the judge. Your Honor? Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it, we're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout, we can all hear you. What'd you say? There's no point in struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool. Don't let it get the better of you, Nick! Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I know nothing about no sticking incident, masked boy. You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird? Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix Wright. You was the one who set this up, didn't you? You's gonna regret the day you ruffled a tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying? Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick! I'm gonna shit my pants. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in the office. When I got whales lined up to borrow cash from Tender Leonard every single day. You just want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. Oh, at last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Ah! What is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting out like that. I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Lowlife? Me? Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me. That's one loan contract I refuse to sign. And don't think it ain't gonna hurt you when you get tangled with the tiger. Ha! I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute, that's really not... This witness is... How can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side, and he'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours too. Very well, I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You's better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Well, shoot. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick. Come out from under the table already, Maya, would you? Okay, I don't know nothing about no murder. Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know? You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is. Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini? She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That seems like a rather sketchy schedule. There he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder. So, now what? Mr. Tigray, what yous want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. There's a dead end, Wright, and you know it. Remember the rules. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe yous ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tigray, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. And how come he knows you? Mr. Tigray, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glen Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger, dated December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigray, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glen Elg, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Not bad. You was actually not bad. Sorry? I was just messing with you to see how good you were. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You's calling me a liar? Is that what you doing? Oh. So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth. Ha! Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. T. Gray. Yes, would you mind indulging the court witness? He never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nail this guy. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. It was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, 10 to Linda. I waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never even been to that Trebian joint, you see? I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, Wright. I think I know what it is. I know liar, I never met Glen Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though, wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, tender lender. I waited around for him, but he never showed. I ain't never even been to that Trebian joint, you hear? Okay. Mr. T. Gray, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What you talking about? We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. What? If you've really never been to Trebian before, what was a book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk? You've been snooping around my stuff now too, wise guy? What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. Order, order. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Ah! Sorry, I'm terribly sorry, forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day. What? But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elg that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out all over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cops' sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, did you? Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it! If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. Ha! No problem. Anytime Troy presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see that he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job! Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir. The Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know, since yous paying. Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured that the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. So you didn't actually set foot inside the restaurant, then? A tiger is a busy cat. I don't hang around for no one. I ain't got time to be caught up in no murder investigation. So, when exactly did you pick up the matches? There are matches just inside the front door. Our detective friend wound up in trouble with the chef after taking 5 books home. Poor Gumshoe. It's almost enough to make a man cry. Okay, I had the cop sirens on my way out and went straight back to my office. You went straight back? Did a bout of guilt suddenly hit you for what you did? What you's trying to say? You trying to tell me you's never been guilty of nothing? We all have our crosses to bear. We all have to swallow the dark secrets we hide. Like this! The courtroom's not exactly the place to talk about dark secrets, is it? It seems you've done it again, Mr. Wright. Fuck. You're something of a loan-collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie-detecting pro. And no one escapes the phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, Wright? A new line of irrelevant questioning? These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this. Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why, that's true! Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. So, from the entrance of Trebian, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him. Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenn Elg, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glenn Elg, and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Mr. Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. Isn't it obvious by now? Obviously. The killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness? Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle. So I dares you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts? You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright! Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. He's got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle the situation alone. Ha! Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Kudo! Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no. A serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee. Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Ha! Found your pen at last, Wright? It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed 2 people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenn Elg, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright. I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenn Elg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show.
What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well?
The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her.
Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed?
Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender Lender.
You was making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight if you know what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick! Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had kind of a cackling laugh. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, one for real and one for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, was you!
Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry? It was alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give yous one more thing to think about before I go.
Something to think about?
You've got it all wrapped up nice, huh, Wright? But you's missed out on one real important thing.
But that can't be.
I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid, too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, yous hear?
What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre?
Ha! What a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're gonna need another one for the road. Blah, 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 blah. One more steaming cup of hot testimony.
Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Trebian between yourself and the victim?
Yeah, I loaned out cash, about $100,000. That day we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won! $500,000! He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she had done, everything would have been over. Now I see that the principal amount you loaned to Mr. L was $50,000. Yeah, well, you's got the VIG to take into account. Interest bills are fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? And that is it for this episode. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet! Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload. Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!